Hello, we alive. We alive again. And I love doing this live thing. It's just so much easier. I'm gonna tell y'all just how much work this was for me for the last 2 3 years. So what I would do, I started my channel in mm, let's see, October 2020, September 2020. And what I would do was a lot of times, it was just get the information out there. Like, I didn't really care about the setup and stuff. And my friend Eli from Urban Lifestyle, he was like, "Man, you got to up your quality." And and so I told him, I was like, "Yeah, I actually do videography. I can set up lights and I can, edit and color correct and stuff like that. But a lot of times I just really didn't, care. I just wanted to get the information out." So I started being more mindful of that. Um, however, I would do videos like this, and I would pretty much um, I would go through articles, go through sections of interview, react to videos, and everything would be just like put into a video editing program. I personally use Adobe Premiere Pro, and I would edit and chop and all these different things, right? Just to get the video out, you know. And sometimes the video would get like, I don't know what, 10 views, things like that. I don't know why. I think my signal was kind of jacked up, but I would get like 10 views or something. But I would spend all this time just editing. I still do that with some of my podcast episodes, video podcasts. So like the recent ones I did, like I'll put them in the program and actually go through and edit them. But the live stream is honestly just way more easier because then I could just share my thoughts live. I don't have to be recorded, and I can make mistakes, and people can just see me just live in the flesh, and I can go through the articles itself. So it seems to be easier. Those are just some of the back end things to make this happen, right? Just to make this happen. So I know some of you are relaxing, or doing what you do on a Friday evening. Me, I just got home, took a nap, and I'm about to go to the gym. Uh, you know, um, Working out, take care of your body is a part of wealth. You can't really enjoy your wealth if you don't. You want to try to preserve your body as long as possible. That's part of wealth. Being part of a social community that accepts you and loves you, living somewhere where you feel accepted or feel like you belong. That's part of wealth as well. And then money. Money's a part of it too. Your family, things of that nature. So uh, you know, going to the gym, working out, eating healthy. You have to do that. So we're trying to play the long game. I'm not trying to me at least I'm trying to play the long game. I'm not trying to be the oh, let me try this protein shake and lose weight in like 2 days type of thing. I'm not doing the plastic bags or anything like that. I mean, it works for some people, it just don't work for me. I'm just not trying to do that. So I'm just really trying to just stick to discipline. Discipline is a big key theme for me this year. And I hope it is for you all. So I see I got someone viewing the video. Um, Comment in the section, drop a comment so I can say what's up. So we're going to get to this article, right? Um, this article that I just read today was sent to my phone. I have Yahoo Finance on my phone, so it's sent to my phone, and it says, we're actually going to pull it up now. Um, let's get it. All right, here it is. Americans owe a record 1 trillion in credit card debt. This is a record. Credit card debt hit 1 trillion for the first time on record, according to new data. A troubling development as interest rates and delinquencies also rose. So people are late on payments, people are defaulting on payments, and the higher the interest rate, the more you pay the bank, right? And a lot of this is a trap, y'all. And I'm not gonna lie, like I got caught up in one of these traps. I got a credit card. It was 18 months, no interest. I ran the balance up, and then I had to pay back interest at 20%. And a lot of the payment that I'm paying every month goes towards interest. And so, I had to liquidate some assets and everything to get this balance down, right? Just so I'm not paying the bank that much in interest. But yeah, this is a trap. They'll offer you zero interest for a certain amount of time, allow you to run the balance up, and then they will come after you. Like just yeah, they're coming after you. So back to the article. We might even read these comments later on. I'm interested to see what people have to say. Total balances on credit cards and other revolving accounts reach 1 trillion. Um, that's the highest level on record, and 1.93 or 193.4 billion more than the start of the year, and 264 billion above the 736 billion in April of 2021, the lowest level since the onset of the pandemic. The increase in indebtedness comes as interest rates on credit cards remain near 40-year highs, and delinquencies, especially among younger borrowers, increase. And with the federal student loan forbearance set to end this fall, millions of Americans may find themselves relying on credit more. Now, this is actually pretty interesting. They mentioned the federal loan, student loan piece of it. So we know the Supreme Court came out and said that Biden's plan he couldn't do or whatnot. What's up, Connor? Man, good to see you, bro. Appreciate the retweet earlier. So you retweeted my video on Twitter, man. Appreciate the support always. If y'all don't know my guy Connor Borchers, he's been supporting me for a while as a musician, as a friend. I've known him since the 8th grade. He is a good friend of mine, and he is a fantastic bowler. Right, he gets strikes and all of that. I suck at bowling, but this dude, he didn't master the craft somehow, and probably spending a lot of time and dedication towards it. So, shout out to my guy Connor. I see someone else. Go Flow. Hey, what's good? What's good? Go Flow. How you doing? How you doing today? So actually, as I'm reading this article, so Biden, they did, yeah, you definitely got to show me, man, because I freaking suck, man. I suck at bowling. But so Biden, um, the Supreme Court came out and said that his policy that he was trying to implement, which I would have benefited from. So like, but I know our national debt situation and everything, but I would have been the beneficiary of that student loan forgiveness. However, so the Supreme Court came out, rejected it. They did implement a new plan called SAVE. I forgot what it means, but you can do a new driven repayment plan. And so I went in and filled out the application to like get my so I'm on public service student loan forgiveness. So this is like if you went to school for public service and you work at a nonprofit, or public service, such as if you're a law enforcement officer, firefighter, you work in the schools or for a tribe, or things like that. You're supposed to get your debt forgiven after 10 years because those jobs don't pay the most, right? But they're needed. We all want our homes protected. We all want the people in our communities who may have severe mental health issues taken care of, right? I mean, you don't want them on your line, right? Um, you know, uh, Obviously, so these jobs are needed, right? Teachers, teach, our kids and everything, right? So I was on that plan, right? So I go in and fill out this application for uh, the uh, the SAVE plan. It's the income driven repayment plan, and guess what they put my payment as? They put my payment at $10 a month. $10 a month. And on top of that, they gave me a date for when the debt is going to be forgiven. Right. So they said, okay, so you're already on the student loan forgiveness plan, right? And then on top of that, I have to, you have to make qualifying payments for 10 years. So $10 a month, right? I've already been in this thing for like 6 years anyway, but $10 a month. So there's loopholes to everything. Me, I worked in the courts. I worked in, the superior court. I was a juvenile probation officer, so I know how to read law and interpret it for myself. I'm not a attorney, so I can't interpret it officially for someone, but I know how to read and understand it and represent myself if I wanted to. But like, man, like this is the loopholes of the law, right? So even though it was struck down, they were still able to get around that. So back to the article. So consumers are going to have to resume their payments of federal student loans, da da da. And so pretty much, I mean, the debt just it's over $1 trillion now. It talks about people are losing sleep over their financial situation. Um, you know, at least 8.5% of Americans 18 to 29 were behind their payments and slipped, 90 days plus days behind their payments. Um, Delinquency rates of 6.1%. So the amount of credit card debt is continuously skyrocketing because, I mean, the cost of living is skyrocketing, right? I mean, people have to pay a lot of rent. People have to pay, for transportation. And so we're actually going to get into this other article here. Um, this is about how many Americans have emergency savings, right? Let's get into that. So here we are. This was from January 25th, 2023. 57% of Americans can't afford $1,000 emergency expense, says a new report. A look at why Americans are saving less and how you can boost your emergency fund. So why are Americans saving less? It says the top reason cited by respondents, 74% was inflation, rising costs. What I just said, right? And I didn't even read that part. I just noticed stuff, right? Have added rising costs have put pressure on the average American's wallet. While the inflation rate is beginning to cool, it still stands at 6.5% for the 12 months. Da da da. Right. And then here's the amount of costs. Well, this is the changes to the CPI, which we know the CPI is rigged. I mean, it doesn't really include food and energy most of the time, and then owner's equivalent rent is a scam, right? Um, so more Americans are leaning more on credit. So how Americans are covering emergency costs, more and more of them are leaning on credit cards. The report showed that 25% would take on a credit card debt to cover $1,000 emergency expense and pay it off over time, a record percentage since polling started in 2014. So we see that the debt is becoming an issue for a lot of Americans, a lot of people. And now that rates are higher, you got to pay more on the debt. So what are some ways we can get out of this, right? What are some ways we can get out of this debt trap? I'm not just going to bring a problem up without talking through some solutions, right? So one way, Peter Grandich comes on. He's a fund manager, a wealth manager, and he comes on quite a bit. I'm actually being interviewed by him next week, so that's cool. For my first time being interviewed by someone, and he talks about spending less. Less is more. And he says one thing that you could do is write down everything you spend money on for 30 days. 30 days, write down every single transaction that you spent money on and how much. That's one way. And that way is probably going to be very enlightening to people. People probably don't realize how much they spend money on little stuff, coffees or whatnot. So that's one way. The second way I would say that people can work on reducing their debt is to, first of all, it's almost like you're a paramedic, and you want to stop the bleeding. That's how I refer to it. Stop the bleeding. So when I was really trying to, like, okay, I need to get my stuff under control, I had to stop the bleeding. So all the little pay-in fors, all the little you know uh, subscriptions, to apps and all these different things, right? I had to stop them. I was like, okay, I don't need this. I don't need this. Why am I spending money on this? I don't even use this here. So I had to stop the bleeding so that I can make sure that my income was coming in. So you got to stop the bleeding. That's the second thing you could do. The third thing is obviously very simple. It's starting a budget. You're giving every dollar a job, right? And you are allocating how much you are going to spend each month towards something, and you're not going over that amount, because if you go over, it's not in your budget. Um, for me, I have a hard time with budgeting, not like in a bad way. I have a hard time because I have so much miscellaneous income coming from different places. I may get a little check from YouTube, or like, I do videography on the side. I do consulting work on the side. I get paid on the side. So I have multiple jobs where I bring in extra income. So sometimes it's hard for me to budget that, and I just end up, just throwing it on either some debt, or, putting it into some savings. I've been paying for my own college out of my own pocket for the last year. So that was 12. I came out probably about, well, 12 grand for the masters, and then a little over 12 grand for the masters. And then I've been doing some Harvard Business School courses, and I've spent, I think, I don't know, 3 grand on that so far. So I've paid, I mean, I'm done with college in October, and I've paid probably 15 grand out so far. So that's something that I've been paying on out of pocket for the year, which, because I didn't want to take on more student loan debt. Right. I was like, no, I got enough of that. I'm not trying to take it on. I got a raise, I got a significant raise at work. I know that I can make a lot more money. So, I'm pretty much in a six-figure range right now. But I knew that for me to get to that next level, I just needed that paper, that paper, pretty much that education credential. So that's why I went back. So those are some ways that you can, reduce the debt burden. Um, if you all got any questions, you're always welcome to comment. Even if you see this video afterwards, I respond to comments. Usually, I usually try to get to every comment. But credit card debt, it reached a record high. Like right now, we need to be getting our financial house in order. At least that's what I'm doing. And yeah, I mean, we gotta save, gotta break bad habits, these habits from the pandemic and receiving stimulus checks and PPP and unemployment checks and all of that, like that has to stop, because yeah, we're not living like that. Most of us aren't living high like that, so that's what it is. So y'all enjoy y'all Friday, your weekend. Tomorrow I'm uploading the second half of the interview with Alasdair McLeod. So be sure to be on the lookout for that. I did upload that the first half today. So if you haven't checked it out, go check it out. Other things, I did interview Mark Yusko. That interview will be up soon. We did talk about the crypto markets and just what's going on there. And I know not everyone in here is into crypto. I am a little bit, speculation, but because I'm hoping to make some massive gains and buy some gold, buy some other real assets with it, right? So Mark Yusko interviews coming out soon. Be sure to consider becoming a member. Go Flow and Connor, I have my membership on my channel. You can join and become a member for $6.99 a month. This gives you access to it just gives you access to viewing the interviews I do with the professionals in this space early. You also get high in top consideration for questions that you want to ask them, access to custom emojis and badges, and priority responses to comments. So I appreciate you all. So I hope that you consider that and supporting the channel in that way. Thank you all for being here. You all have a blessed day. I will probably see y'all sometime this weekend. All right. Peace.